are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. This is Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, the Art of War. And for the new viewers, my birth name is William Anthony Rogers. And the Art of War is kind of a play on words and I suppose strategies, because I'm a student of the Sun Tzu Art of War classic. We are in Indian summer, but soon things are going to get cold because winter is right around the corner. And it's always a good idea to detox, to prepare for those winter months where a lot of colds and all kinds of things take place. And as many of you may know, I've worked in the wellness community for many years. And my guest for this show today is the person who, those who are wellness practitioners, when they have a problem and they want a natural way to address that problem as relates to health, they call her. And those who are not practitioners tend to do the same thing, which is a wise thing to do. Many of you, unless you are listening from Mars, probably have heard the name Dr. Sebi, an incredible man, did a number of things that are still amazing to the eyes of those who understand that story of him. And we'll talk a little bit about that because I am honored to have as a guest my friend and the person that I call when I have a problem. I've been on the phone with her for a couple of weeks now based on some skin issues that I've had. The wife, Dr. Sebi, the late Dr. Sebi, Miss Patsy Bowman, is my guest, and I would like for you to give her a warm welcome. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, Mrs. Dr. Sebi here.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you. I think we might have some issues I don't know whether you can see me as well as I can see you, but the important thing is for people to see you and and
I,
hear you.
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Well,
I, yeah.
that's great, and that means that you're going to have to go to the Soul City website or to a couple of others, and we'll give you the address so that you can, because it's live streaming, but it's also posted on our sites, so you'll be able to see the
Okay.
show. But the important thing is that we can see you and we can hear. I started as part of my introduction to you, started to talk a little bit about Dr. Sebi. Now, since people are looking at this from around the world and around the corner and of all ages, there may very well be someone who might not be familiar with that name. So, as a beginning, perhaps you can give the viewers a little information about uh, your late husband, and then how you uh, have connected with the world based on the things that you experienced in your relationship as relates to holistic health.
Well, my husband, Alfredo Bowman, aka Dr. Sebi, won a case in the Supreme Court of New York since 1988, proving to cure many diseases, including AIDS and cancer, diabetes, herpes, lupus, blindness, paralysis, etc. And of course, being the spokesperson of the company, I was in the kitchen making the herbs, so I still continue to do that even after his passing. And people call from all over the world to get healed.
Well, since you were able to, and again, being modest, uh, Dr. Sebi was an incredible uh, man. And that trial that we're talking about, there was a statement that was printed, I think it was in one of the Brooklyn weeklies uh, in the 80s, where an interview took place with Dr. Sebi, and he indicated that he could basically address through herbs and other protocols all of the things that you mentioned, even some cancer issues.
Yes,
And I think it was Pfizer that
yes.
that took him to court, and the
Mm.
court uh, proceedings and appeals went all the way up to the Supreme Court of the state. And after a period of time, if I'm not mistaken, the judge indicated that you have to show proof of what you're saying in order to win this issue, this case. And from what I read, and you were there, a number of Dr. Sebi's patients who had been diagnosed with cancer and other types of non uh, uh,
And
healing entities came in not only with the letters from the doctors that indicated that they were going to die soon, but because their disease is not curable, but also proof that after going through the protocols with Dr. Sebi, that there was a reversal in the things that were bothering them in many ways. And enough people came with that proof to allow
yeah,
for him to win
sure.
that case.
Sure, they asked for about 9 people, but about 77 people showed up, showing what they had before, their diseases, and how they were cured, the proof of their cure afterwards.
And that, of course, was hidden because that created uh, many of these diseases. There's a lot of money involved in the pharmaceutical company. So,
Well,
and I this is something that you've heard about, and I know it's a sensitive subject, but there are many people, and I'm sure you've heard this, believe that Dr. Sebi's work was so impressive as it relates to the results that he was getting
mhm.
that there are conspiracy theories that he had to go because he was in the process of dealing with billions and billions of dollars. And sometimes there are conspiracy theories, but I know that there are issues that take place that people are eliminated for a lot less than billions of dollars. So the possibility is there, but that's something that you've had to live with. And how what's your thought about that from your perspective?
Well, you can't think about the negativity of the whole problem because we have a diaspora to heal. So, um, one of the main things to do is to get away from the mainstream medicines and foods that they have introduced us, especially from birth, that creates a lifelong dependency on chemicals. We have to get away from that, you know.
And that's difficult because it seems like more and more the companies are trying to hold on. It's, I guess it's almost like a disease. Before it's cured, it gets worse, and
Mhm.
because more and more people are beginning to understand that the work that you do, the work that many of my colleagues are also performing, can create a situation where there's a tremendous, if you follow the protocol, and we're going to talk about that, if you follow the protocol, which is difficult because we've been indoctrinated, we've been programmed into believing certain things, and we've been addicted. But if you follow the protocol, you don't have to, in most issues, deal with pharmaceuticals. And
Yeah, I don't even, you know what, it's not as difficult as you think. We're just going back to the original plan, which is the basics. You go back to God, forget it, Mother Nature, that's it. Um, in doing so, you don't even have to wait too long to actually experience what it would be doing for you. Just stay away from those things that is causing us to be ill. And our first thing is you have to have an alkaline diet. You cannot eat the dead and get life. You must stay away from animal products. Egg, milk, cheese, and butter, meat and fish, and chicken especially, and God forbid the rest of the unmentionables. That would help you.
well, which is something that people are beginning to look at. Matter of fact, I wrote an article which surprised a lot of people, even surprised me, that the the largest grouping of ethnic groups, I can guess you can say, like the Hispanics or European, but the largest group of vegans in America are African or from African descent, African and Caribbean. And that was surprising because, soul food and Southern, matter of fact, a couple of vegan places originated in Atlanta, I believe, the land of fried chicken and buttermilk and all of that. So things are slowly
Mhm.
starting to shift back to what you're saying. But
Yes, pretty much.
um, we've been brainwashed, we've been programmed, and we begin to believe, and things like sugar. I was just looking at an ad about how addictive sugar can be.
Yeah, it's the what they offer us, especially I call it the supermarket. What they offer us, it's all um, opioids. It's not food in there. People claim, or most people claim, that the opioids are in the food. It's not in the food. The food itself is the opioids. It's worse than crack cocaine and meth. Rice is pure cyanide. All those beans that they offer us is nitrogen. That sugar and that starch, especially from wheat, etc., you know, is carbonic acid. The milk and cheese and butter is lactic acid. It's not really food that we ingest every day. And we just have to be very careful in what we consume, especially now, you know.
It's and I was watching a program. I forget the name of it, but it's on one of the streaming channels, uh, and there was a conversation about food, the FDA and the USDA, and how they have no manpower or budget to really monitor things. But one of the parts of that show that really bothered me was even our green vegetables and the lettuce or what have you. This is on TV,
Yeah,
so yeah, where there are places in the Midwest where they have cattle, and the cattle, whatever they have, when they uh, poop, it goes into a system, and that water runs into a place where the irrigation of like lettuce and other things take place, which is alarming because there's no way for the FDA and the USDA, if they wanted to, but politically they don't have the power because we're talking about big money. But even the foods, and I made the point, even the foods that we think that we can eat, you know, the
of,
plants, that we think that we can eat, there can be issues with that. So
of
it
course.
gets to a point of what do you eat? How do you how do
Um,
you coexist in this climate?
well, you know how they call some plants natural, like carrots and beets and stuff. It's all artificial. The plant has to be a native plant, like the amaranth green, which we call in the Caribbean callaloo or um, or baji. It is the amaranth green. That is what we call spinach in the Caribbean. Because you know they what they offer us as spinach here is a hybrid green vegetable. They're actually making plastic lettuce. It is so weird.
Plastic lettuce. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
from plastic, and using soy as well, because they recommend soy, thinking that soy is something good. Soy is worse than meat, and meat is bad. Soy is inorganic silica, and it clogs up your lungs. It is not something that you should consume. when George Washington Carver was commissioned to use that, it was never meant to be consumed. He made paint and linoleum for your floor and stuff with that. It was never meant to be consumed. And however, the FDA said it's good to eat, and everybody is eating it, and it's really bad. Soy sauce, any kind of soy products, it's really worse than meat.
So, what do you do? The so I would say the average person, one, may not have access to this information, but even if they did, based on the programming that is all over wherever you are,
Mhm.
how do you I guess that's the next step. How do you at least help those who can't help themselves?
Well, I would say to research native plants as opposed to natural plants. It is in the native plants where you get, your nutrients from. Native plants, not what they call, I don't even like to say natural plants now because they said carrots are natural and beets are natural. And beets is loaded with lead. And carrots is carbonic acid, it's starch. So, but there are some foods that you can, of course, use that, that will help you. Most of the times, the things that would help you, it's regarded as weed, like dandelion, plantain, which is another plant, burdock, yellow dock. These plants are naturals, in the island sensitiva, blue vervain, stinging nettle. These are things that is great to consume. These would nourish your body.
Well, uh, I think that it's always good to look from the positive standpoint, but uh, sometimes the reality is not as positive as we would want it to be. And I'll use myself as an example.
Hmm.
I have had a great deal of opportunities to understand a lot of what you were saying, and have had many times when I did it and many times where I did not. But it was usually, and I'm not saying everybody is like this, but this is what happened to me. I had to get put into a position where I needed to get whatever was going on with me dealt with. Else I probably would not be able to be here now. And this was during the pandemic, so I was not going to the hospital because too many of us was going to the hospital and not coming out. You got a, a scratch on your arm, and the next thing you know, you're not coming out.
Exactly.
So, by the grace of a number of different gods, but God, the Creator, who is only one entity, I was able to come to you and connect with you, and that's when I stopped eating meat. I did everything that you told me to, because as much as it was hard for me to push away from certain things that I thought was okay, that I thought was good, that I enjoyed, that I had cravings for, my health was at a point where I chose to be healthy, rather than happy. I guess I can say, which is, but
Well,
but after a while, I began. Happiness is inside also. We're all programmed. But I'm saying that because a lot of people are probably a lot better than I am, but some people are not. And for those people who are not, uh, I would suggest don't wait until you're almost falling off the cliff to
yes,
begin. And you can't do this. You can't do this overnight. I mean, you can make the decision that this is something that you're going to do as far as looking at, what you're
yes,
eating. I have a problem that I always get yelled at from my family because I don't always look at labels, which and I think it was you or someone would say, well, if there's something there that you can't spell, you probably don't need to eat it. But
and if you can't spell it or pronounce it, makes no sense you're eating it.
but these are things that take time. So one of the things that you do, and I'm happy that you do it, and what I would like listeners to do is that you have many products that you have developed over a period of time, such same as matter of fact, you were doing the cooking when Dr. Sebi was out front. So you have ways that people can help themselves.
Of course.
Tell us a little bit about that and how people can reach you, and how people can find out more about some of the things that you do.
Well, one of the things that they can do if you need an appointment also to speak with me, 305 778 0986 is uh, is a number to call, and you can make an appointment so I can speak directly to you, and I will actually customize a treatment for you according to your needs. Now your information is confidential, um so so when you call, depending on what it is you're dealing with, I can help with that. In order to remove dis-ease from the body, it has to be an intracellular chelation and biomineral balance, and it means I need some water. And it really means we're gonna clean the body, not just the colon. Most herbalists give you a colon cleanse, or they give you a liver cleanse, or they give you a kidney cleanse. Look, it is from the cellular level, not just the colon you're cleaning, to remove debris which has accumulated over the years, which is we have to remove the inflammation, the mucus, the toxins, the acid that has developed over the years. And simultaneously, we have to be purifying your blood, strengthening your lymphatic system and your skin, which is your immunological system. We also have to nourish your brain and central nerve. We also have to address your respiratory system, which includes your sinus, your lungs, your bronchioles. We have to address your your reproductive organs as well, your skeletal structure. Everything is done. Everything has to be done. Everything has to be done simultaneously.
And what I've experienced is that there are herbs and teas that there's a regimen that you take over a period of time, and
Mhm.
some of them are very bitter.
Most
But
of it, most of it is bitter, but bitter is always better.
that's what I'm learning. Bitter is better,
Mhm.
and stuff comes out of you. So you have to monitor your travels because
Mhm.
when you're
That's
going
the
through this
only way.
protocol.
Yeah, that's the
you
only way
you
to
know
perform.
you eliminate, but
Yeah, it is the only way to perform surgery without a knife. It is the only way you could perform surgery without a knife.
and
Eliminating the toxins from the body and revitalizing the system. But it has to be done with native plants, something that would assimilate into the body. One of the things that most people disagree with with our treatment is that they want to know if they can take vitamins or protein. I do not recommend either of it because your body does not depend on protein or vitamins. It may be a stimulant for a short amount of time, but every cell that makes up every organ, that makes up every system of your body, depend on a particular mineral. It's not protein and it's not vitamins. You know those people been lying to us forever with everything, history and everything. You think they're not lying to us about health and nutrition? You don't need no damn protein and vitamins. You need minerals. But it has to be a proper structure of minerals, and only a native plant can do that. Like some of the plants I talked about before. It is only a native plant can uh, deliver the minerals to your body, where your body can assimilate these minerals for it to do work in your system.
uh, uh, Miss Bowman, can you give us that number again? Because I got a text about asking to repeat. What's
305
I'm sorry, three
05
305
778
778
0986.
0986. I'm going to repeat that 305 778 0986.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can call for an appointment. Uh, if they want a personal consultation with me, that would be fine. That number would be good. Okay.
How did you meet Dr. Sebi?
It was so funny. That was in like 1981. We were going for the same job at Hess in St. Croix at Hess Oil. Because I think when he was doing the business, I don't think he wanted to get, like what they call a regular job. So, you know, before the business blew out of proportion. So we were going for the same job, but we ended up not going to the interview. We actually went on the waterfront in Frederiksted and St. Croix, and we smoked a couple joints there. And, and that's how, yeah, and that's how I met him, and then it just continued so on and so on.
And for the viewers, the drawing behind uh,
Yeah,
Mrs. Dr. Sebi is of Dr. Sebi.
yes, it was done. It's a portrait that has been done by Patrick Smith, an artist.
Hmm.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, and sent it.
And over the years, many movie stars and celebrities have come to him and lived
Def-
with him at a period of time.
Definitely. And a few of them died, like Lisa Left Eye Lopez, Michael Jackson, Nipsey, Nipsey Hussle. It's just like as soon as they try to make us, how they say they want to try to make us famous, they end up dying mysteriously.
Which is, it's kind of interesting, but
Mhm.
um, Nipsey Hussle, I believe he was
Yeah.
the rapper was it California,
Yes.
who was going to do a documentary on the case that we talked about of how so
Yes.
many people came to prove what Dr. Sebi had said,
Yes.
and how this guy was like David and Goliath was able
Well,
to overcome this issue, and
mhm.
he mysteriously
Mhm.
died and left eye,
Yes.
also,
And also Michael Jackson.
and
You
Michael
know, he
Jackson.
had already did an entire uh, architectural drawing of a healing center in Africa, in Angola actually, where it had hot water then, thermal water like in Honduras. And we couldn't find, they didn't give us back any of those things. We even had um, a man called, he developed electricity from grasses, from three grasses, he said. We used to, what is his name? I remember just now. Spaceman, we called him.
Hmm.
Yeah. He built his own car and his own plane. Yeah. In my sister-in-law's backyard in Memphis, Tennessee, actually. Yeah. And so we didn't see him for a number of years. So we thought, well, maybe they took him too. That spaceman. He built electricity that you don't have to use any kind of, you know, fossil fuels. He made it from grasses, Johnson grass, crab grass, and clover. He said, and
It sounds, yeah,
mhm,
there has been a lot of,
mhm.
actually, there was an African who also was able to uh, use certain types of energy that surround us.
Yeah,
That that goes all the way back to Tesla, who
exactly.
also can die because he proved that we live in a energy uh, structure, that we can take energy out of the environment in a certain way, and you don't need electricity. And that was the time Con Edison was really beginning
Yeah,
to get into the money of electricity. So he
mhm.
had to go. So you might say that it's conspiracy theories, but there are so many people who have done so many wonderful things that
Yeah.
when they get popular,
They take it
which
away
is
from
like
us
a
and claim
curse.
it as their own. They take it away from us and claim it as their own. You know, that has been going on for centuries. You know, that has been going on for centuries. They have been taking, uh, uh, our inventions or developments and claiming it as their own. And we just, the law it doesn't do anything about it. You know,
What are
it,
some of the things we should be aware of as we move into the fall? I mean, into the winter months.
be sure that you're not eating things that cause mucus and inflammation in the body.
Hmm.
Drink a
Things such
lot of water.
as
It has to be 100% spring water. You can do that. Or you can contact me and at least get a little treatment to clean the system out while we strengthen your immune system, especially with the cold. And we do have America Rub that I make. They call it America Rub in the islands.
which
And
I love.
yeah, okay, and I'm sending yours out tomorrow. I was waiting to get something to send you a mail formula as well. So give me a moment. I'm making it. I'm making it tonight. I
Well,
wasn't.
yeah,
I said.
because I'm the Miracle Rub saves me. That's a it's a
Mm-hmm,
ointment that you put on your skin, and I
mm-hmm.
have been battling
It's It's the only, yeah, it's the only thing I use on my skin. I don't use lotions and all those things. It's the only thing I use on my skin, and my skin is almost 68 years old, so I'm
Well, you're still a youngster, but you still look well.
yes. And
What?
one of the main things that, especially you have to stay away, avoid all that starch, all those starches we like, that bread and that rice. Stay away from egg, milk, cheese, and butter.
What about wild rice?
Wild rice is acceptable.
Hmm.
Now, it takes a long time to cook, but what you can do is soak it overnight and then you put it to boil. And then you can put some seasonings in there and make it taste good.
Hmm.
And then you can have mushrooms. There are so many varieties of mushrooms you can have. You got crimini, portobellos, um, uh, oyster mushrooms, lobster mushroom, turkey tail, lion's mane. There's so much mushrooms that you can take and prepare it the way you think, that you prepare meat. Like season it up really good. You can bake it, grill
Hmm.
it, saute it. So there's so many ways you can prepare that, and you can have that with some wild rice. Make sure you put some seasoning in the wild rice because it's you put some salt in there, please, some sea salt,
Hmm.
and something green, you know, maybe some asparagus or get a fresh salad, especially if you grow your salad yourself,
Hmm.
your lettuce yourself, because I don't trust these salads they have now. I
Do you,
barely
do you have a website?
my daughter's website, who continues the entire line. It is nextgenherbalproducts.com, which
Okay, so
NEXTGEN, generation for short, HERBAL products, PRODUCTS.com, all one word.
okay, next gen HER
Yeah, HERBAL.
HEREEL.
B A L. Herbal.
DAL.
Yes. Nextgenherbalproducts.com.
Okay.
PRODUCTS. NEXTGENHERBAL PRODUCTS.com.
Yeah, next gen herbal products.com.
Exactly.
And for those who are listening, many other things. But when you go there, it's always good to have a consultation so that you can know what you're getting, and what it's best
Exactly.
be used for.
Yes, so I can customize your package especially for you. I can customize your treatment. Depending on what you need, I will customize it for you.
There, there are a lot of you know people who also claim their relationship with Dr. Sebi. Matter of fact, I have a cookbook that is labeled Dr. Sebi's cookbook. Do you have products as it relates to cookbooks or things that you
Look,
still?
my husband never wrote a book. He never believed in book writing or anything like that. I do know that herbs are generally regarded as safe, and if the foods that is in the cookbook is alkaline, then by all means it's okay. But my
Mhm.
husband didn't write any books, and he didn't believe in books either. He said you got to cut the trees down, dig in the soil to get ink, and he was not he does not believe in that. He never wrote any books.
You mentioned Honduras. There was a location there. Could you talk a little bit about what took place there?
Well, it's not mine anymore. Whoever it, those Spanish folks took over the whole business. So I haven't been there since 2013. So I don't know what's going on there. And I did have a couple customers who went there without even notifying me, because I would have told them not to go, really, because and they both died. Because the herbs that was being served there when my husband was alive was the herbs that I was making. Um, those children or whoever has taken over the business, they don't have the original products that we have created. They don't know, but just because they have my husband's name to use, they are using his name to, sell whatever they're selling, you know.
Hmm.
But when he was alive, they didn't care about coming to learn anything, because trust me, he had, tried to get them to come, but the only reason they used to come to us was to get money. They were never interested in it. And then as soon as he died, now everybody come up with some kind of product and they're selling it. But you know, if you, like I said, herbs are generally regarded as safe, but it's not the formulas that we have developed over the years.
Hmm. So there are many things that one has to look at uh, when they're even trying to be healthy. You you mentioned soy, and a lot of the commercial plant-based products have soy in it.
Yes,
So,
don't use it,
hmm,
because soy is inorganic silica. It will clog up your lung, your bronchos. Next thing you know, you cannot deliver sufficient oxygen to your cells, and that begin to deteriorate every cell in the body, because that's the real food of your cells. You don't die from the disease you have, you die from the inability to deliver oxygen to your cells. That's how you die, not from the disease.
and what happens with this that it makes it devastating in a sense is that this is a slow process. I mean,
it,
people
it,
have been eating soy sauce for years, but it
it is
builds
so.
up.
Mhm. It is just slow euthanization. That's all I can say. It euthanize the body. You don't even realize it, but it is a euthanizer, because it does not offer any health benefits to you,
Hmm.
and it's got so much other things as well. That people use and recommend. I see they're actually making AI videos about my husband and calling
I'm
these plants that we never used it at all, even though, yeah, so. But like I said, herbs are generally regarded as safe.
Mhm.
But if you want to get rid of a particular disease, you need an intracellular chelation and biomineral balance, which we have developed over the years, and we have standardized it over the years.
I see a text. Kathleen Hopkins
Mhm.
indicated that she had been using your products for 3 years and lost 30 pounds and continue to maintain weight loss and health. Thank you, and I will only use your products. So when
Well, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen. I hope you do continue, because it is the only thing I use anyway. And like I said, what's the worst could happen? When you get old, you look pretty like me.
well, again, it takes a bit of discipline. It takes a number of different things because the social brainwashing and it starts almost as soon as you come out the mother's womb, you're being subjected to uh,
Exactly. They begin to inject your new.
vaccinations and all of
Yeah.
those types of
And so it
things.
creates a lifelong dependency on chemicals. Um, However, listen, it is not as difficult as you think it is. Once you begin to ingest minerals that your body really needs, you will find that you're not as hungry. You will find you're not as addicted to the so called egg, milk, cheese, and butter and all that stuff that we're used to. You would see you just don't have the desire to eat that. And if you do, probably you'll vomit or pass it out quickly. Yeah, because your body don't need it. You know? So it's not as difficult as you think. Begin to ingest native plants or native foods, and you will see you won't even need the rest of things. You know.
Well, again, for those who are viewing, one, I asked uh, Mrs. Bowman, to come because I know winter is coming, and it's always good to prepare yourself for those cold winter uh, days where it seems the different types of bugs are floating around, colds and flu and all of that type of stuff.
That only comes
And
because the
it
immune.
might not be.
Yeah, it is because the immune system is weakened. But if your immune system is strong enough, you won't have those problems. You have to avoid all that family holiday foods. They're cooking cakes and breads and turkeys and hams and all the unmentionables. They have us using our body as a coffin. And that isn't right if you really think about it. The dead belongs in the cemetery, not in your body. you know so
Well,
once you avoid all that and excessive alcohol and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not judging anything, because trust me, I'll take a shot of tequila every now and then, but
mhm.
yeah, but that's the only vegan thing I could find is eat out anyway.
Well,
Have a whole lot of stuff there for you to consume.
well, the important thing is that people now know. Sometimes, if you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. But uh, it's important to understand that there's certain things that you should be aware of, and everyone has a choice. You can choose.
Yeah,
That's one of the wonderful things about being human. You do have a choice. You might not want to make the choice, but no matter, you can choose to live or you can choose to die. You have a choice.
exactly. You choose to eat to live, or you choose to eat to die. That's all. Stop eating the dead. That is like the most important thing is stop eating dead things. Why are you eating? Remember, it said in the Bible, thou shalt not kill, right? And even if you did not kill that animal and you eating it, that means you're an accessory to the murder of that sentient being that God created. And some of those foods, those meats that we eat, God didn't even create that, because He didn't make no chicken. He made feathered birds and stuff, like pheasants and
Well, one of the things that, and this is another conversation we'll probably have to have you back on the show.
no problem. I will
The
love.
the the problem also is how the meats, how the food that we eat is produced, how it's I mean,
Yeah.
the unsterilized situations that take place now because of mass marketing and a
Yes.
lack of the ability to check. And that lack of ability comes from the political pressure of those who are making the money on this mass production of foods that we eat,
Mm-hmm.
is on top of what you're saying. What you're saying is that the body shouldn't, we shouldn't have dead stuff in us. But
No, because
but
our cells are not made to consume the dead. As I said, the dead belongs in the cemetery, not in your body. Your body is not a coffin.
but on top of that, you have also now chemicals that have been used to preserve and to make
Mhm.
these things bigger or fatter or whatever. Uh,
Yes,
on top of that,
it's messing with the hormonal balance of these kids or whatever. You know, sometimes I speak with these millennials, I call them, these young mothers, and they're gonna tell me that my 2 year old, oh, they don't want to eat this and they don't want to eat that. If you leave them hungry for 2 days, trust me, they will eat whatever you cook. Take charge of your house, woman, you know. But we reward our children with Macbeth and Murder King and sick filet, you know, and killing effing communities. That's what we feed our kids.
well, our time unfortunately is getting, but we can have another couple of hours in conversations, which means we have
Mhm.
to have you back soon, probably around spring, so that we can start talking about what we're going to do as because one thing is the seasons all have their own yings and yang in them. But for now, thank you so much for sharing knowledge, for continuing the work of Dr. Sebi. For those who would like more information, you can call for an appointment. That's 305-778-0986.
Yeah.
And you can go to nextgenerationherbalproducts.com to learn about the different types of things that you can use for different issues. However, I advise you to have an appointment before you purchase certain things, because a lot of the times by talking with uh, uh, Mrs. Sebi, you can she can give you a way to design whatever you need based on what your issues are. So
And
thank
that
you.
website and that website is Next Gen, generation for short. NextGenHerbalProducts.com.
Next Gen, GEN, herbalproducts.com.
Yes. And I'm very grateful to be on your program. I appreciate it very much, and I would love to come back. Thank you so much.
When the end of winter, beginning of spring, we'll have you back on to talk about spring and summer.
Sure. Thank
Take
you.
care. Love you. And don't
I,
forget to send me the miracle cream. I'm low.
I'm sending it tomorrow for you. I'm making some made formula for you to send a little bit to, so it could give you
Okay.
extra energy.
Well, thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Take
And I
care.
a gift for the producer as well.
I will share with Mac McCoy, who is also a fan.
Okay. Thank
Take
you, love.
care. Bye.
Bye.
Take
Now
care.
I don't know how to turn this off.
And that brings us to the end of the show. We will talk about our show next week. Wow, November is coming in very soon, and we'll be uh, talking about some of the things that take place in November, the Harlem Mile, and a number of marathon issues. But I'd like to thank you for watching, and hope to see you next week. This is Tony Rogers, Urbanology Systems, saying good evening.
This is Kier Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Urbanology.